Bulldogs. My father served in the Navy. My uncles served in the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy as well, and the Air National Guard. My uncles, my dad, my cousins fought in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Eleanor Roosevelt wrote, "Freedom makes a huge requirement on every human being. With freedom comes responsibility. Our freedoms were earned and are defended by the brave members of our United States Armed Forces." Today, we will learn about the significance of Veterans Day, which we celebrate this week. Veterans Day, observed each year on November 11th, honors the service and sacrifice of our military veterans. Originally known as Armistice Day, it commemorated the end of World War I in 1918. In 1954, it was renamed Veterans Day to honor all American veterans from all conflicts. Veterans Day recognizes the courage and sacrifice of those who served our nation. They've faced danger, been far from home, and endured hardships. Some even paid the ultimate price, their lives. We owe all of our veterans, living and dead, our gratitude. On our campus, we have 2 current staff members who served with honor. From 1992 to 1998, Ms. Thogerson served in the United States Navy as an aviation electronics technician. She performed troubleshooting and repair work on communication, navigation, and radar equipment for the P-3 Orion Sub-Hunter aircraft. Ms. Thogerson was stationed with VP-9, Patrol Squadron 9. They are also known as the Golden Eagles. And she was deployed 3 times, once to Misawa, Japan, and 2 deployments to Diego Garcia, which is a base strategically located in the Indian Ocean near the Middle East. Ms. Thogerson's service in the Navy helped pay for college, and it has shaped the person that she is today. Work hard, play hard, we will always have your back was her unit's mantra. Mr. Brewer spent 8 years in the Coast Guard, both in the reserves and on active duty, stationed in Seattle and Everett. He was a maritime law enforcement specialist, and his main duties were anti-terrorism, as well as human and drug trafficking checks on cargo ships coming into the Northwest. Mr. Brewer served with a port security unit and was deployed to Iraq, Kuwait, and South Korea in order to train and work with their military members on force protection and security operations. Veterans Day is a day to acknowledge the ongoing contributions of veterans to our society, as our featured speaker, Mr. John Sajewicz, will help us to think about.
Hi, I'm John Sajewicz, and I was the librarian here at the high school until the end of last school year. And it's good to be back, even for something like this. Well, I'm here to talk about Veterans Day and my own experience as a veteran, as an Air Force veteran. And, I think a lot of people come to the military in various ways. They have their own sort of road to this kind of service. And mine, I think, probably started when I was a kid, because I come from a very large family. And one of my oldest brothers during the Vietnam War decided to join the Navy. He didn't want to be in the Army, but he wanted to be in the Navy. So before he was, his draft card, I guess he was, I'm not sure what that was called at the time, but his number was coming up. And so instead of getting drafted into the Army, he decided to join the Navy. And so he served, he went into the Navy in 1967 and served until 1971. 72. I think he might have re-upped again. I was a little kid at that time. So, when he went into the military, I was 4 years old, and he served on the USS Enterprise, the aircraft carrier. He was an engineer there, was a nuke engineer. And I just remember him coming home, and he'd have his uniform on, and it was just kind of inspiring. And he was very happy with his service, and he was proud of what he was able to do for his country, and that had an effect on me. At the time, the Vietnam War was going on, and by the time the Vietnam War ended in 1975, I was 12 years old. And from then until 1990, the United States was in a pretty peaceful time. And when I graduated from high school in 1981, I decided to join the military, in this case, the Air Force. Now, my own decision to do that is somewhat complicated, and yet not complicated at all. It's very simple. I joined right out of high school. One of my really good friends in high school joined the Air Force the year before. He was a year ahead of me in school, and he came home on leave and was talking about how he really liked it, and it was a wonderful experience. And it just got me thinking. I've been kicking around, what do I want to do with my life after high school? And college was kind of involved, but then there were other things. One of my brothers was working for the gas company in Ohio at the time, and he was like, I could probably get you a job there. And so I was kind of kicking all that stuff around and thinking about it all, and I just decided maybe I'll join the Air Force and serve my country that way. There's various ways you can serve your country, either through volunteer service, or through like law enforcement, or through firefighting and these kinds of things, where you serve your country, you serve your community. And I decided I'd like to try the military. So I joined the Air Force, and it was a good experience for me. It turned out not to be my career option. As I went through the Air Force, there's some people that I encountered in the Air Force that steered me toward college and to become a teacher, which I'll get to in a second. But I decided to join the Air Force as my way of serving my country. And I was proud to do that, even though I didn't make it a career, which is pretty common in the military, actually. But anyway, I joined the Air Force. I became an aircraft mechanic, and I was working on F-111s. These are airplanes that are fighter bombers. Ironically, they were developed for the Navy as well, as a plane, short-range bomber for the Navy that could land on aircraft carriers. But the Navy version of the plane never got off the ground. They had a prototype, never went anywhere. But the Air Force kept their F-111s. And so I worked on the A models, which were originally made in 1967. And I don't want to get into too much minutia about the plane, but I really like that plane. It's kind of big. It's a bomber, but it's also a fighter. And the interesting thing about the F-111 is, and it's been retired since I think 1998, the interesting thing about it was it's really heavy aircraft. So when it's fully loaded, it's like 60,000 pounds. You know, it's a very heavy airplane. And but it takes off in a very short runway because remember, it was partially being developed for the Navy to land on aircraft carriers. So what they did to mitigate that problem was they made it a sweep wing airplane. So when it's taking off or landing, the wings are out, you know, fully extended on each side, and it's big wingspan, right? But after the plane gets into the air and kind of starts to cruise, the wings sweep back into a delta formation, and then you can really get going with that thing. It was a cool airplane. I worked in phased inspection, so what I did was kind of what a mechanic does when your car needs a tune-up. You know, you've had 100,000 miles on your car, and you take it into the mechanic, and you know they say, well, at 100,000 miles, you need this, 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 and this, and that's what we did with airplanes, except it was for not miles, but airtime. So planes would come in with so many hours logged, and we would do various types of inspections on them. So we'd pull panels off, we'd pull the engines out of the airplane, we'd basically rip it apart in a major inspection and put it all back together again and make sure it all works good, and then send it back out to the flight line. So that was my job for the 4 years I was in. I was in from I enlisted in 1981, but I didn't go in until 1982 on my birthday, ironically. And I served until 1986. So while I was in, one of my supervisors, one of the sergeants that was in charge of my unit, was going to Boise State University. There was an extension campus on Mountain Home Air Force Base, which is where I was stationed in Idaho. And so he was going to college there, and I talked about books a lot when I was working on airplanes, you know, and he was like, you should go to school. I mean, they have a great program here. Boise State University has a great program on base. You should go. And so I took some classes, and he was like, you know, I don't know if you want to be an officer, but you seem to like books a lot. Maybe you should become a teacher or something. And so this sergeant, and his name slips my mind now because it's been almost 40 years, he's the one who kind of got me into college and set me on the course to be an educator and be an English teacher for a while, and then later a librarian. So I credit him with sort of setting me in that trajectory. So I got out in 1986, and as I said, I was very happy with my service. I was glad I was able to do something for my community, for my country, and I really do encourage people to consider doing some type of service work for their community or for their country, whether it's the military or some other form of community service. It's a wonderful thing to do, and it only benefits your community. I served in a time of peace, and so my work in the military was largely like a job. My life, I was a single person at the time throughout my enlistment, and I lived in the barracks, and so I usually shared a room with somebody. It was kind of like living in the dorm in college, so to speak. It was kind of like that, a lot like that. And, you know, we got ourselves up. We went out and went to the chow hall every day and and went to work and came home like most people do. The Air Force had a lot of great activities for people like me who were, single and living by themselves on base. And I did a lot of backpacking trips up in the Sawtooth Mountains in Idaho because of programs on base and that kind of thing. So having served with during time of peace, I didn't get involved in conflict. And I know that in the last 15, 20 years, we've been involved with a lot of conflicts, starting in 9/11 and our involvement in Iraq, and then later in Afghanistan, and then later in Iraq. And these conflicts have happened. They're kind of up front. A lot of you probably have friends or relatives who have served in one of these conflicts. And Veterans Day to me honors veterans, all veterans, but I think in large part it's here to celebrate veterans who have really sacrificed their time away from their families, to serve in these conflicts, and sometimes to pay the ultimate price for that. And I think they deserve our thanks and our remembrance of them. So Veterans Day, I think, is rooted in the sacrifice that people have made for their country. So while I am a veteran, I honor those people who served in those conflicts, and starting with my brother when he was in Vietnam, and to the people who've served in the conflicts since, ever since then. So that's been my experience in the military, and that's my thinking on Veterans Day. And I hope if you know somebody who is serving in the military or has served in the military, that you give them a handshake and a thank you. I think they would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Veterans Day reminds us of the importance of honoring and supporting veterans, not just today, but every day. They've defended our freedoms, and it's our duty to show respect and appreciation. Like me, many of you have family and friends who have served in the United States Armed Forces. I hope that you will take some time to thank the veterans in your life for their service. As President John F. Kennedy said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Thank you.